teach with him. Once he slept to the brothers laid the way wide and choose sincerity and salutations and blessings to the host of the elect. And the leaders out there, the words of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi.
Shalom.
Amen. Promise to his reign is supreme. The Lord has set the Egyptian against the Egyptian. Alright? You know, whether it's done by Esau's hand, whether it's a false flag, or the Lord did. Guess what? It all goes back to the Lord. He controls everything. Matter of fact, let's start with that. I'll go to Proverbs 20 and 24. This is the spirit thing. The Lord controls it all, man. There's nothing on this planet that's not being controlled by the Lord of hosts. It's being the Lord of armies. Alright? Got it?
20, 24. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 24. Man's goings are of the Lord.
Yeah, so those rags, that was of the Lord.
That's it.
Whether or not Esau constructed it or the Lord actually made that thing happen. But he did make it happen. Read it again.
Man's goings are of the Lord.
Oh, yeah.
How can a man then understand his own way?
Yeah, how can a man then understand his own way? All right, the man goes on the Lord. He set that scenario of it. All right, he had Trump come out and address the crowd and told them to go march on Capitol Hill, man. That it on that? Give me Proverbs 21 and 1. So he had told Trump to go out there and rouse up the people. Right? You got it? Go ahead.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 1. The king's heart,
you see, the king's heart
is in the hand of the Lord, Yahawashi.
is in the hand of the Lord. So he told Trump, hey, go out there. Or he told an evil spirit, jump on Trump, go out there and rouse him up, tell him to go march on Capitol Hill. And from that point on, it was just spirits out there, you know, to cause them to go bring it to the Capitol. Whether it was, like I said, whether it was Esau doing a false flag or the Lord bringing up his things to pay. You know, it's all going toward what the Lord wanted to do anyway. Let's get that Ezekiel. So this is going to go downhill from there. It's just going downhill from there. It ain't getting any better. And the Lord said what? The evil watches for thee. He said Ezekiel 7:5.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7, verse 5. Thus saith the Lord power and evil, and only evil, behold, is come.
Yeah, evil and only evil. Behold, that word behold means to look. Look. We that have that vision, right, to see afar off, the prophecy which is reigning supreme. The Lord said, look. Go ahead.
An end is come.
An end is come.
The end is come.
Go ahead.
It watching for thee.
Yeah, the end watching for thee. You saw why? Because the Lord declared from the beginning. Let's get that. Hold that. Go to Isaiah. I know you have more on that. Go to Isaiah 46 and 10. He said the end is come. It's watching for thee. The Lord has already declared the end from the beginning. We just cleared it out.
Now, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 46, verse 10. Declaring the end from the beginning. And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done.
See, the things that are not yet done. So the Lord already declared the Egyptian against the Egyptian. A house divided cannot stand. You know? Go ahead,
saying, my counsel shall stand.
His counsel shall stand.
And I will do all my pleasure.
And he's going to do all his pleasure. And guess what? Part of his pleasure is bringing down this wicked ass kingdom that we're in. All right, this is the most wickedest kingdom that's ever been erected. You know, you got homosexuals living about freely. Like there's nothing wrong. That's wickedness, man. You don't think the Lord has a judgment prepared for this place? Read that again, huh?
Declaring the end from the beginning.
Yep.
And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done.
Yeah, the things that are not yet done. Right? Sedition among men, famine, race wars, class wars, right? Civil war. The things that are not yet done. Go ahead.
Saying, my counsel shall stand.
Yep.
And I will do all my pleasure.
And this is the pleasure of Yahawashi. Okay? Go back to that Ezekiel. Start at the top of the shirt, reading on that.
This book of Ezekiel, chapter 7, verse 5. Thus saith the Lord power, and evil, and only evil.
Yep.
Behold, is come.
Yep.
An end is come.
Go ahead.
The end is come.
Go ahead.
It watcheth for thee.
Yeah, watching for thee. Go ahead.
Behold, it is come.
Which means to look when it's come. And that's what we had in these prophets. We're looking at the downfall of Esau, the so-called white man. Is it on there?
No.
Give me Mark chapter 3, start at verse 22. Oh yeah, the Lord said what? The end is come. He's now beautifully playing out the end of Esau right before our eyes. He told us, behold and look. And what behold literally means look, watch. Watch what I'm gonna do. Hey, don't, this, excuse me. That's what them gangsters used to say. Oh man, he took your bank from you. Oh, that movie with Denzel Washington. When the dude supposed to have gave him his money, put that money in the jar, he said, look what I'm gonna do. And he walked down there and blew that nigga head off. The Lord said, look what I'm gonna do. Go ahead, Al.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 22. And the scribes which came down from Jerusalem.
Start at 23.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 23. And he called them unto him.
You know what's like? Go ahead and start at 23. Let's get what's going on.
This is Mark, chapter 3, verse 23. And he called them unto him and said, this is Mark, chapter 3, verse 22. And the scribes which came down from Jerusalem said,
yep.
He has Beelzebub.
Yeah, he have Beelzebub. Go ahead.
And by the prince of the devils cast he out devils.
Yeah, these damn wicked ass Israelites were saying that Yahawashi had a devil in him. The reason why he was able to cast out devils, which makes no fucking sense. Go ahead, Al.
And he called them unto him.
Yep.
And said unto them in parables,
Go ahead.
how can Satan cast out Satan?
Yeah, Yahawashi said, how can Satan cast out Satan? Go ahead.
And if a kingdom be divided against itself,
See, the Lord is breaking this thing down in parable. If a kingdom, which is where we are now, a kingdom is divided against itself, go ahead.
that kingdom cannot stand.
And the kingdom cannot stand, go ahead.
And if a house be divided against itself,
Go ahead.
that house cannot stand.
Go ahead.
And if Satan rise up against himself,
Yeah, Satan rise up against himself on the stick. And that's really spiritual. Because Esau deal with Deuteronomy like Israel deal with Deuteronomy. But his thing is the 6. You know? Oh, and that happened on what? The 6. Go ahead.
and be divided,
And be divided.
he cannot stand.
He could not stand. Go ahead.
But hath an end.
But have an end. Yeah, the end of Esau is come. We just read it. The end of the end is watching for thee. Right? Hold it. Give me 2 Ezra chapter 6. Start at verse 6. Matter of fact, can you give me 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 6? Bible shut. Hold that. Matter of fact, read that last part.
And if Satan rise up against himself,
Yeah, Satan rise up against himself
and be divided,
and be divided,
he cannot
he
stand.
cannot stand.
But hath an end.
But half an end. Go ahead, huh?
This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 6, and verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the time?
Yeah, what should be the part of son of the time?
Or when shall be the end of the first?
Go ahead.
And the beginning of it that
Yeah,
followeth?
the end of the first and the beginning of it that follows. Go ahead.
And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Go ahead.
For Esau is the end of the
For
world,
Esau is the end of this world,
and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So this end that Satan is trying to experience is the end of this age, this current rulership, this current eon, right? Read that again up.
And if Satan rise up against himself
Yep.
and be divided,
Go ahead.
he cannot
He
stand,
cannot stand.
but hath an end.
But have an end. So yeah, Esau, your end is being shown right now. Go to Matthew chapter 24 verse 3. So the Lord said, look for these prophecies for the sign of his coming. The sedition among men, right? Race wars, class wars, famine, pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places, signs in the sun and the moon, signs on earth, hey, pillars of smoke, different volcanoes going on, right? What's the ultimate pillar of smoke? Those thermonuclear missiles blotting out the sun and the moon, man. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 3.
Yep.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately,
Yeah, the disciples came up to him privately,
saying,
they ain't come to him good. They ain't come to him openly. Want to hold people, a lot of people around. Go ahead,
saying, tell us, when shall these things be?
Yep.
And what shall be the sign of thy coming?
What shall be the sign of thy coming? Go ahead.
And of the end of the world?
And in the end of this current world, this current age, this current eon, right? Go ahead.
And Yahawashi answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you,
Go ahead.
for many shall come in my name,
Yeah, General Yahawah, right? Many shall come in my name. Go ahead.
saying, I am Hamashiach.
Yeah, this dude say he is third. He right up under Yahawashi. This is what this guy said. Many shall come in my name. Yeah, that's what they got to say. Yeah. Yahawashi say he right up under Yahawashi. Yeah, man. Go ahead.
And shall deceive many.
And shall deceive many. And guess what? All those people in the IUIS, whatever the PUK, you're deceived. Go ahead, huh?
And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
Yeah, China just won Biden ass. Ain't that something? China just won Biden. Stop selling military stuff to what's that country? Damn, I forgot the name of that country. But it's a part of China, but it was exiled and stolen basically, and they do their own thing. Taiwan. They're telling them stop selling weapons to Taiwan. Right? Go ahead, huh? Yeah. You can sit up here. Go ahead.
See that ye be not troubled,
Yeah, see that you be not in trouble. Go ahead.
for all these things must come to pass.
For all these things must come to pass. It's gotta happen. You gotta go through the fire. Go ahead, huh?
But the end is not yet.
It's just the beginning. Go ahead.
For
Whoa. He said the end is not yet. Go ahead.
For nation shall rise against nation,
Yep.
and kingdom against kingdom.
Go ahead.
And there shall be famine,
Go ahead.
and pestilence,
And pestilence. Go ahead.
and earthquakes
Go ahead.
in diverse places.
Go ahead.
All these are the beginning of sorrow.
See, it's just the beginning. We in the beginning stages of Esau's most monumental fall. Go ahead.
Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted,
Yep.
and shall kill you.
And guess what? Part of that is those guys, HOI, going out there in the middle of that damn confusion. The Lord is not an author of confusion, but you go out there in the middle of that confusion to push forth the destruction of Esau. Why? Because you clap chasing basically, right? And the Lord has you in that lot, because it ain't the first time you did this. You know? Who wants to, that's like prophesying in the middle of a pandemic. Or you prophesying in the middle of a George Floyd riot. Man, that makes no sense. You're not going to have, the Lord told us to search for the elect. You're not going to be out there prophesying in the middle of a fucking riot. In the middle of confusion. Go ahead, Matthew 24. Oh, wow, they.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted,
Yep.
and shall kill you.
Yeah, that's part of what's going to happen, man. All right, the Lord going to put certain men in the lot to have the truth demonized. So some of the men can be what it said, delivered up and be afflicted. Go ahead.
And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
See, you're going to be hated of all nations for his name's sake. Go ahead.
And then shall many be offended.
Yeah, men are going to be offended, man. Right? They're going to be offended at the name Yahawah Bahasham. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't out there with those guys. Right? Go ahead, man.
And shall betray one another.
And shall betray one another. Go ahead.
And shall hate one another.
And shall hate one another. See, this is the bitter and the sweet of the gospel, man. You gotta have both. Matter of fact, give me Ezekiel 2 and give me verse 5. Ezekiel 2 and 5. This is the bitter and the sweet. We gotta declare all the gospel. You just can't have the sweet. When the bitter come along and you don't know what the hell going on, you're gonna fall apart. So the Lord said what? Declare all my counsel. You want to be stable in that day. Truth come knocking at your door, you ain't worried. You be like, oh, well, the Lord may have us play out the way I get delivered. Or he may have it play out the way I die and glorify his name. You ain't just freaking out. Go ahead, man.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 2, and verse 5. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to those, the house of Israel.
Go ahead. And that's another thing. We're supposed to be sent to the house of Israel. You don't want to be out there prophesying in the middle of a damn riot full of so-called Edomites, because most of them I know are Edomites. And if they were Jake out there, they were so gone in the Edomite mindset, you weren't going to reach them nowhere.
One Eve lady, I think she got attacked out there.
See that? Jake, in the middle of some bullshit, getting attacked. You weren't supposed to be out there with the damn evil, man. Go ahead, man.
Verse 6. Not to many people of a strange speech and of a hard language, whose words thou cannot understand.
Yep.
Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee. But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee. For they will not hearken unto me, for all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted.
And hard-hearted, yeah. All of Israel is impudent and hard-hearted, man. Go ahead.
Verse 8. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces.
Yep.
And their forehead strong against their forehead.
Go ahead.
And as an adamant harder than flint have I made thy forehead.
Go ahead.
Fear them not.
Fear them not. Go ahead.
Neither be dismayed at their looks.
Go ahead.
Though they be a rebellious house. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thy heart and hear with thy ears.
Yeah, receive in your mind and hear with your ears. Hear with understanding. Right? Go ahead.
And go get thee to them of the captivity.
Go get you them to the of the captivity. What them damn captivity out there, that damn boy. Go ahead, man.
Unto thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, thus saith the Lord, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi.
Go ahead.
Whether they will hear or whether they will forbear.
Go ahead.
Then the Spirit took me up, and I heard behind me a voice of a great rushing, saying, Blessed be the glory of the Lord, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi.
What verse you in?
Verse 12.
Ezekiel 2. It's all good. It's all good. Go to 10. Yep.
On 2.
Yep.
And he spread it before me.
But yeah, you was into it first. I don't know how it happened that way with that 16:11. Maybe it started at 9. Yep.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 2, verse 9.
Yep.
And when I looked, behold, the hand was sent unto me.
Yep.
And lo, a rule of a book was therein, and he spread it before me, and it was written within and without.
Yeah, it was written within and without. These holy scriptures. Go ahead.
And there was written therein lamentation.
Lamentation.
And mourning.
And mourning.
And woe.
And woe. That's why we got to give you the whole road, man. We got to declare all the gospel of the Lord. So when they say someone's going to be delivered up to be afflicted, guess what? That's part of the lamentations and woe. Go ahead, That's it on that.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 11.
Yep.
And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive men.
Go ahead.
Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth.
Go not forth.
Behold, he is in the secret chambers. Believe it not. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chamber. Believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east,
as the lightning cometh from the east,
and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Coming from the east to the west, and it's going to be obvious. All eyes are going to see it. Go ahead.
For wheresoever the carcass is,
so wheresoever the carcass is,
there will the eagles be gathered together.
Go ahead.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light.
See, immediately after the tribulation of those days, Jacob's trouble, right? The Lord said you got to go through it, If you hold Acts 14 and 15. Go ahead, man. Hey, go on. Sounds good. All right. Go ahead. Sword. I think you started Matthew 24 and 18. You know, if you want to, you can whip out your phone.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 18. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes.
Go to 12.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
Because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Go ahead.
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
And he that endures to the end, the same shall be saved. Go ahead.
And this gospel of the kingdom, shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations.
For a witness unto all nations.
What up?
Hey, in the book.
24 and
14. Read that again.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness.
For a witness? No, we making inquisition on you, Esau. This is for a witness. Go ahead.
Unto all nations.
Unto all nations. Go ahead.
And then shall the end come.
And then shall the end come. Go ahead.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet.
Yeah, this is going to what happened in 70 AD when they seized our homeland, the Romans, the same Romans we're under now. Go ahead.
Stand in the holy place.
Go ahead.
Whoso read it,
go ahead.
Let him understand.
Go ahead.
Then let them which be in Judea flee unto the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
Wherever you at, when that tribulation come down, man, don't go back home. Go ahead.
Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes.
Go ahead.
And woe unto them that are with child,
Yep.
and to them that give suck in those days.
Yeah, woe to them with child, man. We get stuck in those days, man. That's why I can understand that brother answer that question about how did he pray? Did he get his real prayer? That should be the least of your worries, the least of your concerns. You need to be trying to get the hell out of here. Go ahead, huh?
But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter,
Pray that your flight be not in the winter. Go ahead.
neither on the Sabbath day.
Neither on the Sabbath day.
For then shall be great tribulation,
Yep.
such as was not since the beginning of the world
Such as was not since the beginning of the world. What is that? Jacob's trouble. Go ahead.
to this time.
To this time.
No, nor ever shall be.
No, nor ever shall be. Let me get a piece of it right quick. This is Daniel. So you got camps talking about they're not going to go through any Jacob's trouble. Jacob's trouble is gay. Man, you, boy, you finished, man. This is Daniel, chapter 12, and verse 1. It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as was never since, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, every one that should be found written in the book. See? So this is the time that Yahawashi is talking about, the time of Jacob's trouble, which is closely approaching. Because there's never seen his kingdom falling, man. I've never seen Trump, really come down from his pride. But he came down from his pride a little bit. Talking about, I will make this a peaceful transition. It wasn't a lot of prideful words. They didn't, what is the word, ban him from social media. You can't post on Twitter and on, and on Facebook. The so-called president of the United States, the leader of the free world, you can't post on Twitter or Facebook, man. The Lord is bringing this place down piece by piece, man. And if you got eyes to see, praising the Lord, Yahawah shall recite. Go ahead, man.
And except those days should be short,
Except those days should be short.
there should no flesh be saved.
See, the Lord is shortening these days. He's speeding up the time. Go ahead, man.
But for the elect's sake,
See, for the elect's sake,
those days shall be short.
those days are going to be short. Go ahead.
Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Hamashiach,
Go ahead.
or there, believe it not.
Believe it not.
For there shall arise false Hamashiach
Yep.
and false prophets,
Go ahead.
and shall show great signs and wonders,
Yep.
insomuch that if it were
If
possible,
it were possible,
they shall deceive the very elect.
go ahead.
Behold, I have told you before.
See, Yahawashi said, look, I have told you before. Go ahead.
Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert,
Go ahead.
go not forth.
Go not forth.
Behold, he is in the secret chamber, believe it not.
Believe it not.
For as the lightning cometh out of the east,
Yep.
and shineth even unto the west,
Go ahead.
so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Yeah, it's going to be obvious. Go ahead, huh?
For wheresoever the carcass is,
Yep.
there will the eagles be gathered together.
There will the eagles be gathered together, man. You got to go through great tribulation, right? It's going to be obvious. The Lord said it's going to be obvious. Go ahead, huh?
Immediately after the tribulation of those days,
Immediately after the tribulation of those days,
shall the sun be dark,
yep,
and the moon shall not give her light,
go ahead.
and the stars shall fall from heaven.
Yeah, those thermonuclear missiles, man. Blotting out the sun with those clouds. Matter of fact, hold that. Give me what you got. Hey,
This is Acts chapter 14, verse 2.
22.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 14, verse 22. Confirming the souls of the disciples
Yep.
and exhorting them to continue in the faith.
Go ahead.
And that we must through much tribulation,
Yep.
enter into the kingdom of Yahawah.
Yeah, through much tribulation, we're going to have to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Go ahead.
And when they have ordered,
That's it on that. Go ahead.
And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
And the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. Go ahead.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven.
Yep.
And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn.
And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. Why? Because he's coming back as that angelic power to rid his anger and vengeance with fury. Go ahead, huh?
And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven
Yep.
with power and great glory.
With power and great glory, man. He coming in those chariots, man. You know they're going to be dumbfounded, confounded, you know? Even though they've been out there watching the chariots all this time, when he appear on the scene, though, man, they ain't gonna know what to do. So to say that man's heart's failing them for fear, having heart attacks, right? Go ahead, huh?
And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet.
Yep.
And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds.
They shall gather together his elect. So at the same time the destruction happened, the Lord is gathering his elect. Hold that. Give me Revelation 11. And start at verse 12 about the sun. So at the same time the destruction coming down, it's like the elect of the children of Israel is going to be saved.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither.
Come up hither.
And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud.
And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud in those chariots.
And their enemies beheld them.
And their enemies beheld them.
At the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the earth 10th part of the city fell.
Yeah, the 10th part of the city, those 10 fields on, the 10th part of the city fell. Right? Go ahead, huh?
And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were frightened and gave glory to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi of heaven.
Yeah, the remnant were frightened, but it said in that was slain 7,000 men, a complete number of men. A complete number of Edomites, and everybody else who was over here, left over here, 2/3 of the children of Israel were destroyed. That completion. Read that again about the side, that last part.
The very last
Yeah,
part.
the very last part. Like
And the remnant were frightened
Yep.
and gave glory to the Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi of heaven.
yeah, to the Lord, Yahawashi. You know, when it's going to be missiles coming down, the elect going up. The righteous going to scarcely be saved. Matter of fact, give me that. Give me 1 Peter 4:17. The righteous scarcely going to be saved, man. Why you think we laying up treasures in the kingdom of heaven? So we can have protection in that day through all of Jacob's trouble, and to see the sign of the Son of Man coming in the clouds, man, shoot. Who wouldn't want to live for that day, man? Go see your salvation come. Follow your enemy. It's all good. That 1611 kind of hard to navigate. If you want, you know, whip out the phone too. But I know, oh, you record, okay. I know you be getting, you be highlighting it and stuff. It's all good. Matter of fact, you good, get it in here. Hold that, 1 Peter 4:17. It's all good. It's all good. Hey, that 1611 hard.
Yeah, I know. I'm really trying to get used to it, so I can know my book.
Yeah, you get some tabs. You get some tabs on there too. You know? It make it easy.
1 Peter 4:17.
Yeah.
Fine. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 4, verse 17. For the time is come.
Yep.
That judgment must begin at the house of the Most High.
Yeah, the time is come. The judgment is beginning at the house of the Lord. Go ahead.
And if it first begin at us,
Yep, the ones that know you, Israel. Go ahead.
what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Yahawah.
Yeah, what should the end be of those that obey not the gospel, man? And guess what? The gospel has been preached around the whole world. That's why the end is coming. So it ain't no excuse. You know you Israel by name. You just can't, like I see TikTok videos, these